would have thought Mieczysław Haiman, a boy born into the poverty in 1888 in the Wołyń region, would become a traveler, historian, journalist, a poet, a pioneer of historical research on the Polish presence in America, and the creator of the Archive and Museum of the Polish Roman Catholic Union in America, today the Polish Museum of America. He arrived in New York in October of 1913, and for the first few years, he worked jobs demanding hard physical labor in New York and then in Boston. He wrote poems that he sent to the Polish-American press, the Boston Courier, where he was noticed by Father Aleksander Syski, editor-in-chief of the Kurier Bostoński. He was the first to tell the world that Poles were here in 1608 among the first settlers in Jamestown, that they built this country and contributed in the creation what is the United States. It was Mieczysław Haiman who told us about the participation of Poles in America's wars, War of Independence, Civil War, war with Mexico, with England, also in the war with Seminoles. In his scrupulous research, he found an interesting fact, that at one time the American Army uniform partly resembled that of the Kraków costume. And thanks to Haiman, we know of America's efforts in helping Poles during the November Uprising. In 1927, he came to Chicago and became a member of the Polish Roman Catholic Union of America, which employed him in its newspaper Dziennik Zjednoczenia, the Union Daily, as a journalist. In 1935, he became a librarian and began to organize the emerging museum. It was at his appeal that Poles living in the United States began to send gifts that built the collection of the Polish Museum of America. His life purpose was historical research on Polonica in America, to enrich the history of two nations, America and Poland, and make the bond between them much clearer.
Mieczysław Haiman jest moim mistrzem, kompasem i drogowskazem. Z zaświatów wciąż kieruje działaniami w archiwum. Nie odmawia żadnym prośbom. Dzięki jego zapiskom, przypisom i fiszkom nieustannie docieram do ważnych faktów. Był niestrudzony. Pracował od świtu do nocy, w podróży i w weekendy. Pracę traktował jak misję. Zaczął od uporządkowania biblioteki na parterze, której ofiarował pieczołowicie zbierane przez siebie cenne książki. Uzupełniana kolekcja stała się podstawą do opublikowania 2 katalogów poloników. Duplikaty rozsyłał do zrabowanych w czasie wojny bibliotek. W wolnych chwilach porządkował akta Wydziału Narodowego Polskiego, które w 2017 roku posłużyły jako materiał do wystawy Polonia rusza do boju. Na skutek codziennych apeli w prasie do nowego muzeum napływały niezliczone różnorodne dary. Haiman spisywał je, tworząc kolekcje tematyczne. Alarmował o większe pomieszczenie dla szybko rosnącego zasobu. 12 stycznia 1937 roku na 2. piętrze budynku Zjednoczenia otwarto nowy lokal Archiwum i Muzeum Zjednoczenia Polskiego Rzymskokatolickiego w Ameryce. Ignacy Jan Paderewski gratulował Haimanowi słowami: Zjednoczenie nie mogło tak ważnego stanowiska w godniejsze oddać ręce. A Sylwin Strakacz uzupełniał: muzeum ma sporo ładnych okazów, ale najpiękniejszym i najcenniejszym jest pan Haiman. Ponadczasowa była skrupulatność Haimana i sposób rejestrowania nabytków. Zapisywał je równym, charakterystycznym sobie pismem w złotej księdze, a każdy dar opatrywał numerem zapisanym w ołówku na ostatniej stronie. Spisy i wykazy nieustannie korygował. Z oszczędności zapisywał je na odwrocie mniej istotnych listów. Pamiętał o darczyńcach, informował o nich w prasie. Zajęty porządkowaniem kolekcji często z wysokości drabiny dyktował listy młodej asystentce Sabinie Rogisz, która zarażona jego pasją pozostała przy muzeum aż do śmierci. Aby w pełni zaprezentować działalność muzeum, przygotowywał i rocznie drukował raporty kustosza oraz sprawozdania na zjazdy Polskiego Towarzystwa Historyczno-Muzealnego w Ameryce. Oba zawierały szczegółowe rozliczenia przychodów i rozchodów muzeum. W czasie II wojny światowej muzeum w Chicago zyskało miano amerykańskiego Rapperswilu. Haiman wystarał się wówczas nie tylko o kolekcję wystawy światowej w Nowym Jorku i pamiątek po Ignacym Janie Paderewskim. Tropił i kupował od akcjonariuszy i kolekcjonerów rozproszone dzieła, dokumenty i listy polskie. Opieka nad tą kolekcją, jej rozmieszczeniem i zabezpieczeniem, a także gromadzenie funduszy na spłaty długów stanowiły jego codzienną troskę. Rujnowały zdrowie i spędzały sens powiek. Był niestrudzonym tropicielem faktów. Lojalny, skromny i dokładny, wzbudzał respekt, ale też sympatię i zaufanie. Korespondował z całym światem. Autorytety tytułowały go profesorem. Proszono go o porady, kwerendy i badania statystyczne, a także korekty tekstów naukowych. Mimo przepracowania i zmęczenia nie odmawiał pomocy. Współpraca z naukowcami służyła nauce i wzajemnej wymianie informacji. Gdy złapał trop, badał, szukał, słał pytania do bibliotek i uniwersytetów na całym świecie, aż dotarł do wszystkich wątków. Tomy notatek i przypisów oraz rozległa korespondencja w archiwum jego imienia imponuje i jest świadectwem jego tytanicznej pracy.
Mieczysław Haiman was a man of simple means. His scholarly works and publications did not bring financial security. Haiman married Kazimiera Nigbor. She too immigrated from Wołyń. His private life did not work out very well. The Haimans did not have children of their own, and they adopted 2 children. His wife Kazimiera was always in ill health, but she outlived her husband by 28 years. Kazimiera Haiman, after the death of her husband, gave the museum books, photographs, notes, and his personal mementos.
In 1948, Haiman's health began to fail. Overworked with writing the history of the Polish Roman Catholic Union, while still doing the museum duties and having family problems, he was hospitalized in May. Polonia's organizations, alarmed by the state of his health, raised a special fund to cover medical costs. The PRCUA extended an unlimited paid leave to restore his health on the campus of Orchard Lake, Michigan. Haiman's death left a deep void for the museum. A succession of curators and directors could not replicate his work. Joseph Elkania, former Polish Roman Catholic Union of America president, who is considered a co-founder of the current Polish Museum of America as a repository of American Polonia's past, hoped to succeed Haiman. Unfortunately, he died prematurely of cancer. As we saw, Haiman was unique. The scope of his positions covered historian, writer, archivist, activist, tour guide, physical laborer, librarian, and yes, a little bit of showman. The current staff of the Polish Museum of America understands what he created and how that creation was overwhelmed after his death. We are still finding artifacts and letters that were sent in the 1950s through the 1990s that need improved cataloging. There is a saying among the staff that have been working here for a long time that Haiman's spirit is with us still and watching over us and occasionally guiding us to some material that helps answer an inquiry or fill a void in an upcoming exhibit.
With his deteriorating health, Haiman remained at home. He died before dawn on January 15, 1949. The PRCUA organized solemn funeral arrangements with a mass at Holy Trinity Church, where Haiman was a parishioner for 20 years. All of Polonia's organizations, institutions, and societies were present. Officers of the administration of the PRCUA carried the casket both at Holy Trinity Church and at St. Adalbert Cemetery in Niles, Illinois. Over time, younger members of Polonia realized that Haiman deserved a more permanent memorial and raised funds for it. On June 2, 1985, 36 years after his death, and on the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the Polish Museum of America, a special Mass was celebrated at Chicago's St. Hyacinth Church. A monument was blessed and placed on Haiman's grave. The monument committee that paid this tribute to Polonia's Herodotus was chaired by Dr. Edward Siróżański and included Polish Museum of America supporters Sabina Logisz, Joseph Żurawski, and Theodore Świgoń. Sabina Logisz read a special proclamation issued by Chicago Mayor Harold Washington, in which he established June 2nd as a day dedicated to the memory of Mieczysław Haiman and Polonia and its contribution to the life of the city.
Mieczysław Haiman is very important to the staff of the PMA, and within Chicago Polonia, sometimes referring to us as Haimaniacs. As a mentor, his influence is still strong. Across departments, we use his examples from the past as recorded in his notations, letters, and publications. We are not alone in giving him accolades. Scholars from Poland, historical associations, and Polish school educators also research and acknowledge his high standing within Polish American history. And Haiman's own research of Polonia covering centuries. The PMA Gala is typically held in early June, and in 2022, the gala is dedicated to the 85th anniversary of the opening of the PMA and honoring the legacy of Mieczysław Haiman.
Mieczysław Haiman knew that in order for the world to know of the contribution of Poles in America, his works must be written in English. And so it was. Today, anyone who engages in the study of American history or Polish immigration reaches for his works.
Prolific in writing, Haiman's works remain in the PMA library and archives. Although he published in English to make the stories of Polish contributions to the United States better known to American audiences, he did not have the opportunity to translate his final works. It would be meaningful to see a comprehensive publication of his completed works published in English, alongside a fully researched and detailed biography of Haiman's life and legacy. Mieczysław Haiman remains a source of pride to the PMA, and we strive to honor his legacy through our own daily work. Cześć jego pamięci.